Now, she did say something that is kind of dating related, and she said something along the lines of, she said she would end all her relationships. I suppose this would include romantic relationships if this individual like voted for Trump or was a Republican. So, I mean, obviously, I do think in relationships, having shared values is important. I guess this more so relates to personal friendships or like familial relationships where you see people like cutting off family members because of the way they voted. I know that's not super about dating, but perhaps the first thing we can get into is, do you think like valid to like cut off a romantic partner because of who they voted for? And then secondly, not dating related, but what about like cutting off family members and friends for their voting pattern, I guess. Starting with Keeko, go ahead.
I mean, I would say it's valid because you could feel whatever you want to feel. If that's what you want to do, so be it. I'm sure both parties would rather not be in each other's lives anyways. For me personally, I don't care about, maybe not don't care, but I would never, I personally wouldn't cut someone off for voting for Trump or being Republican, but I would cut someone off for being a Trumper. Mm-hmm. Those are two very different things for me. What does that mean? You can vote for Trump, you can vote Republican because that's, you believe in his policies and whatever. But if you have all the MAGA branding and your trucks decked out and all that stuff, I don't believe you should be worshiping anyone but God. So why are you
worship, though?
It's not a worship.
Like how he branded the Bible with Trump and people are buying that, and how they, like, I understand voting who you want to vote for, but the fact that they're parading him around like he's some like someone that should be like, that's, it's politics. Vote for who you want because you believe that's what's going your best interest and you believe what they say. I have no problem with that.
So then any publishing house that puts the publishing house's name on it is an error on the Bible?
No. I'm just saying,
well, I don't. All that happened with the Trump Bible.
I don't think it's right to brand in like, the one I'm speaking about is the one where it was a normal Bible, and it looked like they literally took a branding tool and branded Trump into it. I don't think that's right. Like, I wouldn't brand Kamala. I wouldn't brand someone I look up to or whatever into my Bible. I think that's very weird.
I'm not actually familiar with that. But the thing is if a publishing house were to put their brand on it, the last name was like, I don't know, Steve Jack or something, or Steve Jack Publishing, you wouldn't think that was an issue.
I would, if they made a Bible and branded in bold letters that takes up a big, a good, maybe not a third, but a good portion of the Bible, they branded their name into it, I wouldn't purchase that.
Yeah,
no.
I've never even heard of that.
I never heard it was going around. I'm not saying that Trump personally endorsed it. That's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not, but people were buying it seriously.
Okay.
So I'm saying the people who are doing things like that, I'm like, okay, like, we're doing a little too far.
But leaving the Bible alone for a second, okay? I'll just be very charitable and say, sure. If they're buying Trump brand Bible that's branded into it or something like this, that's one step too far for you. Okay, I can. But what about if they have their truck decked out and this type of thing? Like that's what you were alluding to. I'm talking about
the one where it's like, I'm not saying you can't have a vote for Trump sticker or a flag or whatever. I'm talking about the ones where like yesterday outside my job, there was a truck that had 4 flags in the back.
Yeah.
The big person as him driving, fully encased in, if you vote for Kamala, stay 500 feet away from me, like all those stickers. I think that's doing a little too much. I think that's creating separation and it's doing more evil than good. That's my overarching point. And the ones who are just taking it like they're just making him play out to be like he's some god. Like those are the ones I have an issue with. If you want to vote for him,
I understand what you're saying, but aren't they doing you a favor? Because if your ideal here is like, if you're this into Trump, right, I wouldn't want to be around you anyway. And if they're just advocating that outright, then aren't they doing you a favor?
That's fine. I don't really care overall, but I'm saying I feel like it creates more divide in our country than good is my point. Because you can vote for whoever you want to, but like, everyone has the right to react how they want. They have the right to rep what they want, but I just think it does more harm than good. Like you can have your propaganda, but it's just overarching. Like I had someone post, like even after he won, they just put a bunch of like Trump stickers all over my bar, and it's like, it's cool. Like but it's like, it's just, now you're making them even, I feel like, look bad. I don't think it's.
But can I tell you something? What you just said, I respect your point of view, but just to show you from the other side, they did the same. The liberal did the same, and even worse when people got elected. Like when
Which
Biden,
election?
with Biden.
I've
with
never seen
Hillary.
someone with 3 Biden flags
Listen,
riding around.
just
or
the
anything.
fact that they go and chant in a really crazy way and scream when you don't agree with them, all this psychotic
But that
attitude.
we're both talking about the far outsiders, and that's what I have an issue with. I have the same issue with the liberals who do all those things. I'm talking about the outliers. Those are the ones I have an
What
issue
do you
with.
mean liars? I don't know.
Outliers, like they're not the norm. I don't think the normal person who voted for Trump is like that, and I also don't think the normal person who voted for Biden is like that. I personally didn't,
So
but whatever.
would you
So I'm
say
saying we're
then-
both talking about the small majority.
Yeah, would
that
you
takes
say
the
then
big light.
that the cities then who have these massive LGBTQ parades and things
Yes,
like this,
exactly.
and they're completely inundated with rainbow flags everywhere,
Exactly.
this type of thing, would that be propaganda you would consider divisive?
It's about devices. Divisive is a word, right? Like I believe.
Yeah, I'm
when,
aware it's a word.
No, like the word that I'm stuck on, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Because I do think that, like, when we didn't have the rights we have now, I understand why the LGBTQ parades and things were a thing. So I do believe if I say that there can be a LGBTQ parade and stuff, there could be a Trump parade or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just an issue.
But isn't it just as divisive, I guess, is my question.
It's more divisive, a lot more.
I wouldn't say more. I would say
course.
equally. I would say they both have their
Well,
equal
I'll just grant
parts.
it with equal here, just for
Yeah,
the sake
but
of it. But
I get what
But
you're-
if the argument is like, you're all decked out, you got the Trump truck, you know what I mean? It's got the Dixie horn on
like,
it.
when's
Right? It's got
politics
like the
versus
whole 9
pride?
yards.
Listen,
you go, hey, that's really super divisive. It's like, okay, I can grant that. Right? I can grant that people would look at that and see it as divisive. But wouldn't you have to say the exact same thing with these kinds of pride parades, which happen?
I just think this is one thing. It's the president of our country versus, not to sound
A group that divided the country, I mean. Because the LGBT, I was
okay.
here in the
I
90s.
totally lost what I was going to say.
Listen,
with that.
90s,
I'm gonna be honest.
2000.
guys.
I totally
This is
lost my
really
whole
TOS.
train of thought with that
This
comment.
isn't, yeah.
Can I say
but
something?
I'm just.
I get what you're saying, and I
90s,
honestly, if I'm being
2000.
100% honest, I would like to think more about my overall point about that
Okay.
before I try to
Sure,
prove a
sure.
point.
Okay, I think why it's not the same thing, the whole Trump and the gay pride community, is because gays in their community, they had to fight to be accepted into
So did Trump.
our
So did Trump, a lot
Trump
more.
is literally had been president for how long? You know
After
what I
he
mean?
fought to become president.
Yes,
Exactly,
but
after they laugh
but
at
that
him.
is like that's politics. But what it's
No,
also
it is.
politics
This is
to do with
politics.
that.
It's even more politics. You know how much money
because
they
like
make?
you have to fight for rights to love someone
But
who you
it's
want to
not
love.
about rights.
But Trump is literally fighting for something that half our generation could like. I'm not a voter, so I could care less about it. But
That's the problem.
Yeah. You're probably right, but there's also me that don't really give a shit about politics. But yes, when I say that it's okay.
You didn't
for-
vote this election?
No, I don't
Then
care. I
you should
really
probably
Yeah, I
sit
don't. I
out
really
the
don't care because I don't. I don't give a fuck. I
wanna-
don't even know what they're
I wanna
talking
add
about.
one
I
more
didn't
thing.
vote for Biden versus Trump because I thought they were both.
Oh, I didn't
couldn't
vote then
decide.
either. I never
Just this
voted.
one, I definitely
Nah,
voted
you're gonna
'cause I
say
knew
some
for sure
TOS shit.
Kamala was
Nah,
gonna-
you're
Chill out. Chill
What?
out.
No, you're gonna
Yeah,
say some
I've never-
TOS
No,
shit.
no, 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 I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah, you're
I'm
you're
not.
literally about to.
I promise to. No, I'm not.
And can I add something then?
I just
I'd like
want
to hear it.
Okay, so I think what point you brought up when Trump had to like fight for presidency, of course you have to fight for presidency. That's literally in the job description. It is not in a job description to fight to be with the person who you love. So it is not the
But
same
it-
thing.
Well,
Yes.
Oh, I wanna-
Marriage.
hang on,
Good point.
You,
Yeah,
would you
hang on,
say
let her
would
go.
you say that marriage is part of the American, like whatever community? However we were brought
Dream.
up. American dream, marriage, white picket fence, kids, whatever.
Define. Well, okay, sure. Define marriage.
Yeah, define marriage.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly, it's just a commitment for like property.
Then
It's
no,
basically
that
like a
wouldn't
legal
be
agreement.
part of the American
Not
dream.
true.
That,
think
but that's
marriage is
technically
written
what
down.
it is. Marriage
Yeah,
in
but
the
that's not-
like idealized sense
Sure.
is love,
Yeah,
right?
but the thing is that's not part of the American dream. No, it never has been.
Okay,
The idea,
so
the idea of
so the idea of
the
marriage.
idea of like a contractual state marriage. No, it's never been a part of the American dream.
No, but that's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, but-
the idealized version of it, which has been basically promoted as the American dream of, oh, you're gonna find
Yeah,
somebody that
promoted.
you love. Yeah.
But it's not the
And the
original.
promotion is the device, right?
Exactly.
And that's
The
what makes it
promotion
divisive.
of men and women being the only ones getting to be married, that is biblical.